Hey there, what's going on? Thanks for joining us on Cinema Recap. Today we're going to take a look at that 2016 Norwegian drama film, The Lion Woman, or Lovekvinen, if I pronounced that correctly. Spoilers ahead. Now, Gustav is waiting outside the room for what looks like a very long time as Ruth is going into labor. The baby's born, but we can immediately see based on the doctor's reaction and the midwife that something's up. This is confirmed when they talk very obviously in front of the mother about it. Very soon after, the mother passes away, and Gustav enters the room. The doctor explains that he did everything he could, and that the child is still alive. Upon seeing the baby, Gustav reacts negatively, and asks the doctor if the baby would survive. The doctor says the baby was born prematurely but will live, and the midwife adds that she will shed it in a few days. Gustav rejects the baby, telling the midwife to take it away, and, that's not a child. He calls it a lynx. You mean like the cat? Oh, but they're so cute. Anyways, the midwife's trying to console him, but Gustav insists to call this baby a monster, immediately turning cold towards everyone before leaving the room. The doctor asks him if there's anything he can do for him, and Gustav's refusing all help, saying he has no family. They all died. The doctor tells him that Mrs. Birgersen, the midwife, has offered to take care of his newborn daughter for the first few days, and Gustav agrees to this. So he asks the doctor to turn the lights off on the way out. I don't know what I'd do in this situation. Poor guy. Later on, Gustav walks out of the house alone, and we see, a flashback to their first meeting. Get those tissues ready. Now back to Gustav in his own time, collapsing with grief. A little bit later, when the funeral arrangements are being made, Gustav is asked what he'll name the child. Well, he doesn't know, saying that he has other things to think about. So, names are offered to him. He rejects Ruth, the name of his wife, saying it would be too much to bear, but accepts the name Eva, a biblical name. And so, the child is named Eva. The church is full at the funeral, and the choir is singing. Among them, a woman gossips to her friend, saying that there's something wrong with the baby. One man comments outside that she's being buried, that this isn't a funeral but a diversion, and speaks of the banners and guards at the funeral being odd. The station master's grief. Later on, back at home, the baby is being cared for by Mrs. Birgersen, who calls the child beautiful. We're able to see her clearly now, and see that she does have hair all over her body like fur. Gustav asks the doctor if there's anything that can be done about this baby's condition. And they reply no, but they say that they found a wet nurse for the child, whose own child died at 3 days old. The girl, aged only 17, is in an unfortunate situation. The father of her baby was unknown, and her parents have disowned her. She's offered a room in Gustav's home, and when she arrives, she immediately loves it. Later on, Mrs. Birgersen brings over little baby Eva, and the girl, named Hannah, sees her for the first time, appearing a little uncertain and confused. To be honest, I would be too. Don't worry, Hannah, you got this. Mrs. Birgersen leaves the room only with great reluctance, telling Hannah to take good care of Eva. Now a man appears at the door asking for the station master, but Hannah replies that he's doing a line inspection, or something. The man gets a look at the baby and is a little disturbed, it seems, based on his reaction. Okay, so apparently Tidend means newspaper. This is gonna go badly. So a man from the Tidend comes out and talks to this man, whose name is Swammerdam. Bless you. So Swammerdam begins to dramatically gossip. You have no idea what I've just seen. Come on. The man asks some ridiculous questions. Like if the baby has eyes like a snake and some fangs. I guess people thought of that kind of stuff back then. I don't know. Anyways, shockingly, this gets written in the newspaper under an article titled, "A Strange Natural Event." So the newspaper man starts with saying how factual his newspaper is. I think she's kind of cute and unique, and I'm glad we're embracing differences these days. The newspaper gets published, which makes for an uncomfortable experience for Gustav in the morning as people begin to gossip. And when Gustav returns home, he berates Hannah about answering the door with the baby in her arms. People gathered outside the home now, all because of these rumors. They want to see the baby for themselves. Later on, Hannah speaks to Gustav of her concerns for the baby, saying she thinks Eva needs fresh air, as she is turning pale, not eating much, doesn't really sleep, and is whimpering a lot. She asks him permission to take her outside. Well, he thinks about that before agreeing, planning to route a map for Hannah to take Eva on, choosing several routes and times that are best to avoid people. She tells him that Eva laughed today and offers him to hold her, but he's declining. Later on, Gustav gets a letter from the Board of Health, who now know of Eva and her rare condition. Gustav learns from the letter that there have only been a handful of reported cases in the last 400 years, and that they're coming to visit Eva. Dr. Strom arrives and is fascinated by the child, who we're able to get a better look at now in all her CGI glory. The doctor says that he's never seen a person with this condition to this extent. Eva has hair all over her body. Gustav's asking what's wrong with her, and the doctor replies that, there's nothing wrong with her. Nice. I like this guy. Gustav's pressing the doctor as to when Eva's gonna lose this hair, and the doctor's saying that she'll keep him. And then again, twice. And the doctor again gives the same answer, twice. A picture's taken of her, and years later, now in 1919, we see Eva, aged 7, still inside. She's watching other kids play outside and looks over at a picture of her mother. And she knows very well how different she is. She sees an airship outside, and Eva's father sees her looking out the window, so as a punishment, he locks her in a closet? Come on. Poor girl. Sometime later, Hannah and Eva are decorating a Christmas tree together, and Gustav comes over and silences Hannah after she's talking too much. So we see Gustav visiting his wife's grave, as Eva's left alone. She's over here dreaming of her mother often, carrying a picture around, staring at it and thinking about her. Later on, Gustav and Eva are sharing an awkward and mostly silent meal. Hannah's absent, presumably with family for Christmas. Eva begs her father to go to the Christmas tree party, but he refuses. So Gustav warns Eva of the outside world. When he puts her to bed that night, they talk about Eva's mother briefly, showing how strained this relationship is before Eva turns over to sleep. Now when Hannah returns, she and Gustav go out shopping to buy Eva some shoes, silver buckles, and a red fabric to make into a dress, which looks amazing when it's complete. Hannah says that she looks like a princess, and Eva smiles. So our strange family heads out to celebrate in a scene we all hope won't turn sour. The room falls silent as people see her for what we can only assume is the first time. Thankfully, it all goes well, and the other children accept her. After dinner, they watch a performance on stage with a magician, and Eva goes to sit with the other kids. She's approached by the magician, who lightly begins to tease her. This can turn nasty. She reveals his trick. It's not an egg he's pulling out of that bag, but a stone, which she throws at him. Damn. So Gustav leaves with Eva and Hannah. Feeling unsatisfied, he takes Elsa back to her ice palace. Eva back to her home. Now Eva's alone once again, and very bored, growing tired of studying. Later, she throws a tantrum, screaming and breaking a jug. Well, Gustav puts her back in the dark closet and she begins to see equations around her. So the next day, Eva's asking her father, who's a good artist, if he can draw her. But he's saying that he doesn't have time. Now we see Eva begin to notice a man outside her window, someone working on the train. His name's Sparky. He looks friendly, and one day Eva sums up the courage to approach him, giving him a picture she drew of a train. Eva asks the man why his name's Sparky, and he says it's because of his bright ginger hair. The two begin to bond as he teaches her Morse code. Gustav spotted out the window, and Eva hides. Luckily, she's not found. Shortly after, Sparky sends her a letter with the Morse code alphabet, and she begins to learn. Before we go on, like the video, smash the subscribe button and turn on that notification bell to get that full day of good luck. Later on, Gustav's having dinner with some friends in the world's smallest dining room. Hey, this chick's actually called Elsa. Forgot it was a real name, thanks Disney. They try to have a discussion while Eva taps annoyingly in the background. Morse code. Gustav notices this, and Eva says that she wants to be a telegraph operator. Once the guests have left, Eva's punished with, you guessed it, the closet. Hannah and Gustav argue about Eva. Hannah wants her to be free, and Gustav wants to keep her indoors. So furious, Hannah packs up her bags and leaves. For a second there, I thought you were escaping with Eva. Never mind. So now we see Gustav brushing Eva's body and says he's gonna draw another boring old train. Eva's asking about Hannah, and Gustav shrugging her off. He catches Eva trying to shave and scolds her, not knowing how to deal with his daughter alone. He finds Hannah again, saying that he'll give in to her wishes of letting Eva be freer. So we get a wholesome scene of Gustav being less of a jerk, and Eva's encouraged to pursue her desires to be a telegraph operator by none other than Sparky himself. Well, it looks like Gustav's sticking to his word. Good man. Shortly after that, I saw a scene, I know the times, but I had to pause and compose myself. Oh boy, how times have changed. Sparky continues to send her messages, then salutes to her from outside. Their companionship is really sweet. Eva sends a message to Sparky, asking if it's legal for her to be denied the chance to attend school. Gustav sees this, and Hannah begins to fight for Eva's case by blackmail. On her first day of school, Gustav gives both Eva and Hannah the cold shoulder as he's hiding behind his newspaper. And I'm pretty glad Eva has someone like Hannah. So we see the kids learning letters, and Eva's treated like an outcast before the other children turn on her and tear out her hair. And at home, Eva tells her father that school's going very well. She might be planning revenge. But then without warning, we get a jump to 1926, where she's a fully grown woman now. Still forlorn, still lonely, still bullied. Honestly, I apologize if I get her age wrong. It's kinda hard to tell. She didn't attend school and instead sits alone at a lake reading. Gustav gets a letter from her teacher about her numerous absences, and Eva's not caring to explain that one. Instead, Gustav tells her that a letter arrived. There's an inquiry from Professor Strom regarding a dermatology conference in Copenhagen next month, and there'll be doctors and scientists from all over the world. To which Gustav and Eva are invited to participate. Eva's all excited about this, hoping for a cure, and so Eva says her goodbyes to her loved ones and boards the train with her father. That night, while the two are eating dinner, things go well, despite some strange looks towards Eva. The father and daughter have a wonderful time on the train and bond some more. Also, at this point, I'd like to mention that you never snap your fingers at a waiter. Hella rude. So, they arrive in Copenhagen and walk into a beautiful hotel. Seriously, what a room. And it's nice to see both of them smile so much. They arrive at the conference and, wait, her father's not going with her? Okay. And of course, there are reporters shoving cameras in her face. This new place isn't nearly as nice as the hotel. Kinda looks like a hospital. And in the hallway, she meets a man with the silkiest, creepiest voice ever. I mean, I kinda love his voice. He introduces himself as Andrzej Bohr, kisses her hand. He invites her to his room to talk and drops an absolute bomb on her. Did he just say traveling troupe? Oh no. And he offers himself to her? Oh god. Well, she's then violently sick and later goes to bed. Still not sure on this new character, this lizard man as he likes to call himself. Outside in the horror movie hallway, Eva hears footsteps. We get a scene that makes everyone uncomfortable. And later on, Eva's on a stage, poked with a stick, and observed by a bunch of creepy dudes. I mean, scientists and doctors. They majorly invade her personal space, cutting her hair for some research, I guess, and she begins to get very uncomfortable and faints. Gustav's notified about this and takes her back home, unhappy with how things are going. Eva won't talk about her experience at the hospital at all. When she gets off the train, at her home, she ignores everyone and walks indoors, having a breakdown and destroying her mother's picture. She tries to continue her life as normal, skipping school as before. Later on, she's found at the lake by a boy who's actually nice to her. He gives her a coffee before stripping and jumping into the lake, inviting her as well. Well, she jumps in, but begins to drown. Probably all that fur weighing her down. He helps her out of the water, and as it turns out, Eva can't swim. Girl, what were you thinking? The two talk more, and the boy gives her a compliment. Back at home, Gustav and Sparky are talking about missing money, and basically, Gustav decides to blame Sparky like, well, he says it blatantly. Sparky's angry at it. and they talk about Eva some more, with Gustav verbally crushing her hopes at education. Back at the lake, Eva and the boy talk about math. Turns out that she's very good at it, and the boy begins to pet her and she pets him back, but she leaves abruptly, beginning to feel uncomfortable. Now we see Gustav beginning to get sick due to exhaustion, so he and Eva go to a health resort together. Road trip, and they arrive at a really amazing looking resort and enjoy their time together. As they're playing cards, Eva begins to admire a woman in the distance who's amazing at painting. And later, Eva goes for a swim alone, meeting this woman as she paints. They introduce themselves and are both called Eva. That won't get confusing. The two spend time together, talk about beauty, Eva wanting to find love and other things. And then they say their goodbyes, as Eva's father's called home early due to business. So now Eva's riding a bike on a beautiful trail and becomes heartbroken when she sees the boy she likes with another girl. She ends up rushing home and is panicked to find Sparky gone, stopping him before he boards the train and rushing back inside to berate her father, saying that he can't pin the blame of the missing money onto him. But nothing can be done, and so Sparky leaves. Eva is heartbroken yet again. When her birthday gets closer, as a gift, Gustav takes Eva to the variety show. Yeah, I don't know what that is either. Suddenly, the host or presenter, whoever he is, speaks English. And the curtains open, revealing conjoined twins playing various instruments. We also see a very tall man and a black person. Dear God, I'm so happy we're not there anymore. Gustav throughout the whole time is feeling uncomfortable. But Eva, well, she's delighted and entertained. Regardless, Gustav decides to leave upon seeing the ape. Now I'm confused. They're talking in English. Is it dubbed? No, see, their lips seem to sync. Yeah. So the greatest showman offers a place at his show to Eva, but Gustav refuses, disgusted at this. Eva finds the group as they're packing up to leave, briefly seeing Snake Man, who takes his hat off to her, before meeting the organizer and accepting the invitation to join the group. Eva then meets another hairy person like her, with hairy hands too. And back home, Hannah finds a letter from Eva saying nothing but, "Thank you." Hannah gets on a painfully inefficient sled and rushes to find Eva, but it's too late. And then she returns home to tell Gustav the news. As time goes on, Eva seems to be happy enough in her new life, performing, traveling the world, and making loads of money. Though she's still never really gotten used to being an oddity. Eventually, she decides to leave, having made enough money, and goes on to pursue her love of numbers. So jump to 1936 in Paris. She's now a professor teaching math. Congratulations! Well, she came pretty far. It seems to be her true calling. Also, that blue dress looking amazing on her. She's now fluent in French and highly respected. Soon enough, however, she returns home, looking amazing. After an emotional reunion with Hannah, who tells Eva that she looks amazing, we learn that her father has passed away. Eva attends that funeral and then departs once again, saying goodbye to Hannah. On the train, Eva opens the thing that Hannah gave her, telling her that her father wanted her to have it. And we see it's a series of pictures of her, drawings by her dad. And the final picture is of her mother holding Eva as a baby. Fade to black. And that was the recap. Thanks for chilling with us. Released in 2016, The Lion Woman is a Norwegian drama film directed by Vibeke Idse. Hope I pronounced that right. Starring Rolf Lassgård as Gustav, Kjersti Wetterås as Hannah, and Aurora Linseth Lucke, Mathilde Toman Storm, and Ida Ursen Holm as Eva at age 7, 14, and 23. So sorry for butchering your names. I mean, for me at least, I enjoyed the movie. It was kind of a roller coaster. And if you guys enjoyed it, please hit a like and go ahead and subscribe if you feel the channel. Bang that bell to get those notifications and go ahead and share the video. And remember, you're perfect just the way you are. Don't let those haters knock you down. Keep smiling and you have a wonderful day. Till next time.